Welcome back for another book talk. So I'm doing things a little different today. I am doing a voiceover because I am in the middle of making my office. So today we are going to be talking about this book. This is Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant, and this is one of the cozy mystery books. So it's not like a thriller or anything. It's just a cozy little story. Now, honestly, I have kind of come to the point of realizing this, at least currently, I think is my favorite genre for the time being. I'm trying to get through some other ones, and I just don't like them as much as this genre. So the first book I had read in this type of story was the one I think I talked about like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was Catch Me If You Candy, and I loved that book. And so this is one that was recommended right beneath it on Goodreads. This is a brand new book as well, and I still liked it. Oh, did I like it quite as much as the other one? No, I do think I like the other one better. I like the writing style just a little bit more, but it wasn't bad. This is not exactly a small book, and I still caught myself wanting to just pick this up, where the other book I'm trying to get through, I don't. I have to force myself to get through it. And even the other ones that I've picked up since this book, this is one that I was like, I'm excited to read, where other ones it's like, eh. So I think I'm slowly finding my personal choice genre for the time being, because I feel like a lot of readers go through bouts where you kind of pick different styles, and this is just my current new favorite. I love this, where we're solving a mystery. You never know who it's going to be. It just gives off Nancy Drew, but for adults. Like, we can go a little bit more into detail, but even then, it's not a whole lot. It's not like gruesome details. It's not trying to like make you feel very intensely. You're just going along for the ride very casually, but also still very entertaining. And since this is still the second book that I have read in this genre, I don't know if this is just a thing, but I have noticed that, at least from these two authors, the baseline is that it has to include a bakery, that the main character works in a bakery. And I don't know if that's just like a thing in this, but like my first like cozy book I would consider is Legends and Lattes. It's like a high fantasy cozy book, which I loved. And these are more just like cozy mysteries. Like, I love the cozy just in general. Like, whatever thing you put next to it, like cozy romance, cozy mystery, cozy fantasy, whichever. I'm loving the cozy vibes. So anyways, so with this, I don't know if it's a thing of like, it has to have some kind of bakery thing attached to it or not, but I'm okay with that, because at the end, once again, we have the recipes, and I'm very excited to get to try these. They look like a lot of fun. They look super yummy and not too complicated. So like, I do love that. I don't know if that's going to be a thing indefinitely. Is that just like part of this genre? I don't know, but so far I'm loving it. So for this specific book, for the most part, I liked it. There are a few things that I didn't love, so here are just a couple of them. For one, it threw me off for a little bit. So the first thing that caught me was the kind of side character who's like the best friend-ish, Kennedy. At random, she jumps to calling her Ken, and it was like, who's Ken? Because there's a lot of names just thrown at you just because, and none of them really stand out. There are so many that just kind of blend into the background. There are so many characters that just didn't need to exist, that are just there to let you know it's a town and there's people, and that's it. And so it was a little jarring, and I had to like reread and go back and be like, okay, so we're just going to spontaneously change to Ken, and then sometimes Kennedy, and back and forth, just because. Also, this is one of those books that I noticed that it is like, I don't know if I haven't seen it in a lot of other books, but I don't know if, because again, a lot of my books that I had read before were like, kids books and then young adult. And now that I'm moving into adult books, it's like, is that like a thing? But like, it's weird in the dialogues to call out other characters' names instead of using like, the behind the quotations of like, so-and-so turned to so-and-so and they were talking. And like, instead it's like, okay, so Lindsay, said Ken, I'm gonna go blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just a little weird. It's not bad, but it is something that I noticed. But when she's calling her Ken in the dialogue and then in the descriptions, she's Kennedy and back and forth was just a little jarring. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it was just like a little something. And then we come to the 2 points. They're not exactly spoilers, but they're kind of spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch for the rest of the video. Like, they're pretty minor, but they are the 2 things that really kind of irked me. And looking at other reviews, other people were also irked by this. So I didn't love this random side point of thinking that the Witch Talk girls were the bad guys. Like, that just felt like such a cheap way to go about it. I hated it. It's so overdone. And also, it really just rude. I hate it. Like, as a witch myself, as a pagan, the whole thing of that part of the story, like, was a little bit offensive. And, like, it's weird to say that, but it is kind of offensive that because these teenagers are doing a ritual by the lake, they happen to be there, didn't know there was a dead body, but because of that, they're instantly targets because of how they dress and that they're into witch talk, which is like, are they though? Or are they actually into witchcraft? There is a difference. And like, witch talk is typically such a derogatory term for practicing witchcraft. Like, it's just sort of like trying to call you just like, you know, the older term was like a fluffy bunny. Now it's just kind of a witch talk person. Like, it's just kind of lame. And then it's fine because the mom is into it, so now we can trust it. Didn't love that. And then, like, they go about the smudging ritual, and it's like, okay, but listen, I'm probably more hyper aware of it because of my job, because of what I do, where I talk about witchcraft all the time. I've written a book on it. I'm writing more. I run a YouTube channel and a Patreon for witchcraft and paganism. And so it's like, I know I'm a little more aware than the average person, but like, using the term smudge is typically regarded as very offensive, especially in the modern world. It's tied to a very specific tradition. I don't know if it's multiple tribes that do it or if it's just 1 or 2, but like, to use the term smudge is considered offensive. And like, the way they go about it in the whole scenes with it, it's just this kind of like making fun of it and like, well, it didn't work anyways because the ghost is still here. Like, I could see why other people were offended. I was a bit offended. I thought it was really stupid. And then she's like, oh, but the girl got it wrong because she had her premonition wrong. But then also, like, Kennedy was like, I don't know, they go back and forth of like making fun of it, but then she believes in it because like then she does wear the crystal the whole time. So like, it just, that part of it could have been handled better. And like, from a publishing house, I expect a little more, because there are a lot that like other reviewers have mentioned of like, you need to have the sensitivity editor come back in and be like, let's fix this because this is not great. But also, witches are a minority, so of course it's fine to make fun of them. Obviously, that's how most people are gonna view it. So like, that part just felt really kind of unnecessary, and it was just another ploy into the story of, but where's it gonna go? That, I don't know, it did bother me quite a bit. All right, and then the last point I wanted to talk about is kind of towards like the end-ish, like maybe 3/4-ish of the way through the book. So it's after our main character gets attacked, and everyone's there checking on her, and her boyfriend's there, and she's like, well, the only weapon I could find was this like decorative paddle on the wall. And he's like, well, I had a gun in the like bedside table, like the nightstand, that you could have used. Like, I have it there for this exact reason, which, like, I feel like maybe we should have talked about that first of all, because, you know, if you know that he's going to hide a bunch of weapons, maybe find out where they are before you need it. That would have been a smart move, because they don't always live together, which was kind of weird, but like, whatever. And then on top of that, when he says that, she's like, I was scared and blah, 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 but also a little turned on. And I'm like, what? You just got attacked in your house. You just got knocked unconscious by somebody in a costume. the weapon choice you had, like, failed you and was used against you. And then your boyfriend's like, bro, like, I had a good weapon there for you. Why didn't you use it? And your response is, oh, well, that's kind of a turn on that you would hide a gun in my bedroom. But also, it's kind of alarming that you would do that. And it's like, this book is based in Michigan, guys. Like, my family's from Michigan. I can guarantee you, that's a thing. That's not like an uncommon thing. Like, maybe some people don't. But, like, in Michigan in particular, like, that, everyone I've met from there, that fits. You would have a gun somewhere hidden, if not multiple. Like, that's the area. And, like, especially in kind of more rural settings, which this kind of sounds like it is, that checks out. But, like, the fact that she had to add that line of, like, but it turned me on, and, like, how mushy she gets with her boyfriend anyways, it does make me roll my eyes constantly. And on that point, too, like, some of the verbiage used in this book just kind of gets annoying. Like, Sir Hunts-a-Lot got old really fast, and, you know, just little stuff like that. Like, overall, it's not, like, the worst thing, but it was just, like, again, little things. So that is going to be it for my thoughts on this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was still a pretty good book. Like, the storyline is very interesting, and, like, the writing does keep you reading. Again, there's just a couple points that I didn't really love, but it wasn't, like, the end of the world. So I would probably buy this book and at least maybe reread it in, like, 10 years again, just because it was kind of an interesting story. Again, I love this genre. So anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Do you have any other cozy books that you like? Again, this kind of particular style of writing where we're not trying to be psychological thrillers and, like, we're not trying to evoke all of these emotions. We're not trying to save the world. Like, there's so many tropes that are so overdone. And, like, it's so nice just to have these cozy little stories that, like, it's not life-changing. It's not these major things. Like, it kind of is, but, like, it's so muted down from what it could be, and I love it. So, anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. And, of course, make sure to like and subscribe. I am trying to post at least 3 times a week right now. Hopefully I can stick with it. We shall see. Of course, you can always check out my other channel over there. Try to post every day. So I talk about all things witchcraft over there. Mostly book reviews, but occasionally I have some other stuff over there too. So if you want to check that out, you can always find links to everything, including my own books, in my blog down below. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.